Welcome back to another episode of Gimme Some Truth. It's just Clint in the booth with me today. It's kind of harkening back to the original days, days of the Walkner Condon Gimme Some Truth podcast. This is a fun topic for us. It's a lot of kind of new things for 2026 and what we've done this year. Pretty excited. Pretty excited.
Big year, man.
It's been a big year.
Good. Really
as you can see, we're in a new studio, and I don't know that it really could have turned out any better. Sound is amazing. The look is fantastic. The audio is great. Basically what we wanted.
Yeah, so we zoomed out a little bit on this shot. We've got the ability to have 3 people in here, and sometimes we'll have 2 as well. And, Courtney and Matt, and we hired an outside guy, Steve, also to help us. And just the design of the room is fantastic. We have a bunch of sound attenuation. Is that how you say it?
Sure.
So the room actually, if you walked in here, and when our clients visit, we want to definitely show you the room as well. But when you go in here, the sound on it is so dampened and nice in here. And then just the lighting and everything, there's been a lot that's gone into this room, and it just sounds and looks fantastic.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun on this podcast, but we never want to lose sight of the fact that it is, it's a representation of us, and so we want it to be as good as it possibly can be, both by way of technology, by way of what it looks like, what it sounds like, and we're really excited for it. So that's the first big 2026 development. The second, take a step out, if you will, the building itself.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, when you and I were looking, we called up TJ, who's our guy that we use.
Shout out TJ Blitz,
from Cressa, and we said, hey, look, we've got multiple offices, so I don't know if everybody knew this, but we had Monroe Street, and then we had another office attached to Monroe Street, which is we called Glenway, and that's where kind of Mitch and Alicia were there, and Evan, and then we had Science Drive, which is where the expat team was over there because they had needed video conferencing rooms, and we had a very open setting. And then we made the acquisition of King Financial last year, and so Andy King and Reagan were another office, and that one happened to be in Verona. And so we said, look, we got 4 offices here, and our dream was always to come back and bring everybody together. And our culture is a very in-office culture, and we love spending time together, and so everyone was kind of fractured and out doing things. And so we basically were like, okay, well, let's get this back together. So we called TJ and, said, what do you got for us? And I think he showed us like 2 or 3 things, and one of them was this building that wasn't even on the market.
Yep.
He said, you guys got to go check it out. And it happened to be a wealth management firm before, so previously, and they had put together a bunch of this is a condo actually, they put a bunch of the condos together, and then all of a sudden created this one big space that now is Walkner Condon.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Point of clarification, we still have our main Monroe Street location. That is a by appointment only. And so just be aware for the clients that it's not staffed every day. So if you are going to drop by there and drop something off or whatever it might be, let us know before you do that. We'll make sure somebody's there. But that is an important location to us, and we did not want to give that up.
And if you know anyone that wants to sublease Science Drive, we could use a tenant there.
We're still efforting on that path. All right, let's switch gears. Staff, some really fun staff. Some staff. I'll just say that it's evolved the way that we've done things, and one big call out to a new partner.
That's right. Alicia has made partner.
Yeah.
We couldn't be more proud of her. We actually bent our own rules.
We did.
Which I think is kind of fun. Every once in a while somebody comes along and makes you look at the rules that you set, and we cast aside the rule. We basically said, you got to be here 5 years to be a partner, and Alicia was a little under that, and we made an exception for that because she's just the right fit for us. She was partner in WC Tax Services, was instrumental in getting that set up as a new service offering for many of our clients, and great feedback there. And then she's just done a great job with Mitch and that team, and she got promoted to partner, and now hopefully she's never going to look back. It's going to be great. She's still a big part of WC Tax as well, and she and Mitch are on a team, and their team's going to be built out as well. And we also had another promotion as well which Evan was promoted. So he was on Mitch and Alicia's team, and Evan got promoted, and now is on Andy and Andrew's team. And then we have another announcement as well that we've teased to our client. We've told some of our clients, but the other announcement is that Andy King is going to be retiring September 30th as well. So benchmark, like our first retirement. So how cool is that?
Yeah, it's just such a, again, it just, we have a hard time explaining how much it means to Clint and I, because the thing that we get the most satisfaction out of is the development of our staff, seeing how they have progressed. And when you can, anoint people to be partner, when you can see a retirement, when you can see people like Evan that came up and just did everything we asked him to do, it's pretty amazing, really, when you think about it. And we've been so lucky that the people that we've found to kind of make Walkner kind of what it is just, I don't know that we'll ever kind of realize how fortunate we've been in that way.
Yeah, I mean,
because finding people is just, it's so difficult.
Well, you and I are going through the interview process right now. We're continuing to grow.
Yeah.
We're going to add multiple staff members before the end of the year. We want to keep our service levels as high as possible. We want to add and elevate people that have earned the right to do more duties and higher levels of duties and to reach their career goals. And that takes staff, and you and I are in the middle of it. And we get a lot of resumes, but the quality of people that we're looking for, it's very difficult to find somebody that is the right fit, because we're like a small, large company or a large, small company. It's a situation where in wealth management, we're kind of this sort of, medium-sized company, but we have a small amount of staff relative to, other businesses, I would say.
Yeah.
We don't carry inventory and we don't carry that. So, hiring well and making sure that we're very intentional on who we bring on and making sure they fit into Comfortably Unique. They've got to be able to fit into what we're trying to do, and we're all going the right direction. And the growth of the firm has been fantastic over the last, 10 years, really. It's really taken off over the last 5 even. And I think the reason for that is that we've put a lot of the people in the right spots to serve the clients as they should be served. And I think the clients feel that as well, because it shows up in our attrition levels, which are very low. It shows up in our growth levels, which people are adding assets at a rapid pace and telling their friends, and we're getting good Google reviews and all of that. So it's our clients are telling us that we're doing a good job for them, and then we're just investing more and more into that experience and that relationship.
Yeah, and I think going back to Alicia for just a minute, and I think it's always been our goal to have the staff kind of take over. When you and I decide to release some of our ownership, and it's important for us that they understand and have that opportunity that they can be an owner of this firm. And I think that's been really important for you and I to create paths for people to be able to graduate up and to get to that level. And we're excited for Alicia for obvious reasons. But one of them is just because she sets the pathway, right, for the next person and the person after that and the person after that. And I think that's a really exciting development, because it shows that we are intentional and sincere in terms of what we say, by way of we want the people that are here and have made it what it is to have a piece of that ownership within the firm.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we hope that more and more people will graduate up to partner and be able to invest in the future of this firm. And, we are building out people. And, I think over the last 12 months, you and I have tried to empower people and delegate more duties than we ever have. You and I know, are not great at delegating everything. Myself, I'm terrible at delegating. And so it's been something that I've been actively trying to work on. And
you're good at delegating. You just want to do it yourself.
Well,
so it's you're not bad at it. It's just you just want to do it yourself. So that's I don't know what you'd call that, but it's what it is. It's a learned behavior.
I always know that if I do it myself, then I'm completely responsible for how good or bad it is. Then.
Right.
So
I think we're also leaning into the team structure more. And I think that's a big part of where we're trying to go as well. I think people have seen people have seen the evolution of that, and to the extent of where it's at now. You, me, and Polly, and Mitch, Alicia, the team that they have, Andrew and Evan, the team they have, and the idea of just continuing to expand those teams and add more people to the teams, and for sure on for the international clients as well, and the team structure that exists there, with the addition of Talia and Felipe and more people that we're going to add on that side as well. It feels like the right direction to go, and it feels like there's a collaboration and just in a collaborative spirit that is shared by everybody in the firm.
That's right. And you've always said that 1 + 1 = 3 when you and I came together and worked as a team, and we've tried to encourage others to look at that structure. And the issue is that you can't just jam two people together without.
We tried.
And
we have tried
unsuccessfully. And then we learned from that experience. Yep. And now we've been a bit more intentional on putting people together and making sure that Venn diagram happens. And so then there's that overlap. You can't have two people that are too similar. So if they're the same person, the client is kind of like, why am I talking to both of the same people? And then, you also can't have them be completely disparate and different. And then that's also confusing. So we try to have that Venn diagram of being able to have different skill sets, different personality types, but then like a similar core value structure. And, if we have one analytical person, it's nice to have one other person that might be a little bit more of a relationship person together.
Complementary skill set.
Yeah, exactly. And so going forward, I think we're going to continue to see us lean into that structure. And it's super important. And also if somebody's not here, somebody has vacation or they have a surgery or they have something, life happens, and we want to be able to provide service and not have somebody that is like running all the portfolios and doing everything and there's no backup. So we've created redundant backup throughout the firm, and that's all in place. But we want to lean into that where that person is super familiar with that client's situation. It's not somebody just picking up, okay, I can do the trading on that account, but they don't really know the situation. It's better to have somebody that's intimately aware of that person's situation.
Yeah, and I think one of the distinctions between our structure and maybe other firms is that the team members are also kind of interchangeable by way of meetings and client needs. If you and I are meeting with a client that has a executive stock option, stock comp question, issue, concern, whatever it might be, we'll pull Mitch or Alicia into that meeting. And it's expected within the firm that you will help the other teams to be able to service the client in a way that benefits them the best. And I think that for us, that's what we've tried to embrace is, so even though we do have the teams, they're not individual teams, you don't have, 5 teams in a division. It's just all one. It's just we've segmented them out so that they can handle the correct amount of clients and people don't feel as though they're being overwhelmed.
Yeah, people really don't know this, but we've heard horror stories about certain wirehouses, let's just say, where they literally won't take clients to client events because they worry about other advisors poaching the clients, and you're like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Like that's just shocking to me. And
or a door in the next office over, you can't even, really ask that person, or you can't ask to collaborate. There's no connection there. There's no synergy. And again, not throwing stones, that works for them. It's okay. It's great. Nothing wrong with that. This is just not how we do it. And we feel like we're better when we can have all of the parts available to us to be able to reach in. And if we need a very specific thing, we have the person likely that has that knowledge, and we can pull that person and put that person in contact. And I think that for us has always been really, really important. And exactly. I think it's we've proven that with bringing on the international team back, however many years ago that was, now a long time ago, that ability to say, let's add this to the portfolio of talent, because why not? It's just going to make everything better for our clients.
That's right. Yeah, and another enhancement we've had for this year that has been multiple years in the making is, we wanted to more formalize our process around investment committees. Yep. And so we've had, and not only that committee, we have an operations committee now. And so we've always been kind of pushed back on the whole meeting culture thing. But now we're getting a bit more surgical in our approach about, when we put people together with great skill sets and try to accomplish a common goal, it helps the firm and it helps our clients a lot more. So we're leaning into that a little bit more. And then we kind of disseminate in all staff meetings about, okay, well, these are what these seg groups are kind of working on. And, this is the finding from that group. Or if we have a new technology thing, it's no longer just you and I deciding unilaterally that this technology is going to work. We're doing a deep dive into a technology stack, making sure that's appropriate for our organization, and then adding it.
Yeah, and I think we'll wrap up by just thinking in terms of growth. We get asked the question from time to time of people saying like, well, where is it going to kind of plateau, or where's the finish line, or when are you going to stop growing? And our answer's really never changed. We're going to just keep growing, right? But we're going to do it in a thoughtful way and in an intentional way. We're not going to just grow to grow. We're going to do it in a way that is first and foremost a benefit to the client, and the growth is going to be so that we can either offer more services, offer more benefits for the client, or get bigger so that we can service more people that want our help.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's Walkner Condon in a nutshell. I mean, we're never going to stop growing. There is no finish line. Hopefully it's our finish line is infinity. We don't want to stop at all. And someday you and I might not be at Walkner Condon.
Or might be in a different, a lesser role, right? Because
exactly.
Other people have elevated to the extent where they are now making a lot of the day-to-day decisions.
That's right. I mean, just turned 50. So, you gotta take a look at that. You're right around the corner. I mean, you're considerably younger than me.
I'm a ways away.
Yeah.
A ways away. 5 months. It's a measurable amount. It's been exciting to this point, and I think that it's been exciting to this point, but to see where it's going to be in 5 or 10 years from now is the reason why we keep doing it.
That's right, and we have that next gen staff. We've been very intentional about who we've hired in those roles and their ages, and we have a really good cross section of people in a lot of different spots in their career, and that's going to be a huge advantage to all of our clients because we have somebody retiring now, and we have all the way down to our newest member, I think it's 23 years old. So, I mean, we've got a whole different cross section of ages and experiences. And our young people are just incredibly talented. I couldn't be more proud of them. And they have just done everything that we've expected them to do. They are smart. They are determined. And, they're going to end up having great careers. And, if you're a client and you get contact with them, you're going to know that you can see it like in the future that they're going to be somebody that really helps you out and gets you to your goals. So it's an incredible amount of expertise that they're able to gather in a short amount of time. And I think that has a lot to do with how they were taught and the systems that they're being brought up in. We do want them to be very focused on how to utilize technology and artificial intelligence while also still being able to have empathy and understanding and be able to sit in front of a client and be able to understand all of the emotional side of the business as well.
Yeah, and understand that time with a client is invaluable, right? The first year, the first 3 years, the first 5 years, then the first 10 years. I mean, we talk about compounding interest a lot in our industry and what that does for wealth. The compounding effect of spending year after year after year with a client and going through some of those things that they go through, both successes and tragedies, is just, again, it's invaluable. And I think that's why we're able to do what we can do for our clients.
Exactly. And hopefully all of you are empowered to give us feedback about anything that you see. We love hearing the attaboys. Every once in a while, we'll get an email from a client and they just say, I want to let you know that so-and-so did a great job.
Yeah.
And I just want to, give that. And we disseminate that to our staff, both positive and negative.
Yeah.
And we want people to know that. We want people to be better, and we take that constructively.
Absolutely. Final thoughts?
Here's to 2027 coming up. I mean, we're excited for the rest of this year.
Yeah.
We're excited for next year. You're going to see some new faces here, and we're going to see a retirement, and the best is yet to come at Walkner Condon for both our organization and all of our clients. And to anyone that gave us a Google review or told a friend or family member about us, thank you. We wouldn't be here. We're at $1.25 billion right now in assets under management. We couldn't have done it without all of you taking the step to tell somebody or to write that review or to just some people are on Reddit, all of that, all of that feedback that you have given, you've created this compounding interest that we've seen over the last 15 plus years in this organization.
Yeah, and I don't want to by any means short sell the impact of the podcast itself. When we first started it was a little bit of a shot in the dark. It was a let's throw this up and see what happens. Let's kind of grassroots it. The impact that it's had on our business of people listening and watching and commenting and sharing it, we can't ever say thanks enough, because it's such an integral part of what we do, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it sometimes, but it is crucially important, especially when we go back and look at what those first 5 years did and then now where it is. So thank you so much for your support of what we do. We appreciate it. So thanks again for tuning into this episode of Gimme Some Truth, and we will talk to you soon.
Walkner Condon Financial Advisors is a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Registration with the SEC does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The opinions expressed by the participants of this podcast are their own and do not reflect the opinions of Walkner Condon Financial Advisors. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for any individual. Listeners are encouraged to seek advice from a qualified tax, legal, or investment advisor to determine whether any information presented may be suitable for their specific situation. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. Thanks for listening, and for further information, please visit WalknerCondon.com.